the love in your heart and hold your head high.
Welcome to the Let That Go show with Kassira, McKee and Richard Skipper. This show is based on Kassira's book, Let That Go, where she guides people in completely blessing and releasing people, places, and all kinds of things. Kassira and Richard share personal insights and experiences based on concepts in Kassira's book, with guests and you, their co-hosts. Are you ready to let that go? Let's go.
Here we are. Hello, Erron. Hello, Kassira.
Hello.
How are you both doing tonight?
Great.
Doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing wormy.
Yeah.
It's the worm. It's almost the worm full moon. Since we do Sundays, the worm full moon is actually happening on Tuesday. And for those who don't know, and Erron and Kassira will fill in the blanks, but the worm full moon comes from the Native Americans, who it was the time of year where earthworms were starting to emerge from beneath the Earth's surface after hibernating through the winter. And I don't know what it's like where both of you are. Here in New York, the weather today, it was so beautiful. It felt like it was Easter. I mean, everything, the sun was shining. It was gorgeous. It was just a beautiful, beautiful day. What's the weather like where both of you are?
Well, here in Los Angeles, it's finally warming up. We've been impacted by extremely unusual snow, which we can still see from anywhere in Los Angeles. You look towards the mountains and you see snow. So, in fact, was it last week or the week before? It snowed on the Hollywood sign. Very interesting. Very unusual.
I saw that.
So we're starting to warm up.
Well, Erron, everybody knows it's not the first time there's been snow around the Hollywood sign.
Right. Well, yeah. We'll just go with that.
Yes. Sorry. I just had to go there.
Yeah. Hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's quite all right.
I'm just in that wormy mood tonight. I'm sorry.
Well, it's also called the crow moon, the crust moon, the sap moon, the lantern moon, the spring. There's a lot of names for all of the full moons. I'm not sure where crust came from, but I'm not sure. Maybe when it's warming up, sap starts coming out of the trees. I'm not sure what that's about. Yet, I find it interesting that of all the things to call this moon, they named it a worm moon. That was really interesting to me. It's obviously a time of waking up, coming out of kind of winter's hibernation, getting ready to be more active. What do you think, Erron?
So I was also looking at the astrology, and it supports everything that you just said. In fact, it's the reemergence from the dark, where I think the worms come from. They come from that dark place underground, and they start to emerge. And so the birds and the prey that normally feed on them spot them and gobble them up. But basically, it's the churning out of that old energy from the crust of the earth into the light of day, which is a very interesting. It almost feels like a karmic revelation. We're looking at, wow, is that what was under there before? And there are aspects and elements of nature that consume it and just take it away and use it and utilize it. The other thing is that worms, the sap, the worms, all that stuff that's underneath is actually preparing this soil for the growth that we eventually see. And when they start to pop up, that's when we take that action. I was initially thinking it was kind of like a spring cleaning, but it's not really like a spring cleaning, because these worms and all this underlying life is bubbling up and creating the beauty that's going to be all around us very soon, very shortly. And in fact, the astrology just basically says the same thing. There's a ton of really beneficial aspects. In fact, we have a couple of big ones here. The one with Saturn moving into Pisces just a few minutes after the moon is full. Saturn, of course, Pisces is opposite Virgo. It's a Virgo moon. And Pisces is that deep ocean, that all the water, all the movement underneath, and but it doesn't really have a container. Now, when we talk about Saturn, Saturn is the container. Saturn represents the structures of things, the containers of things, the building around, concrete, stuff like that. And it gives us this form. We would be kind of remiss if we had a bunch of water in the backyard without a pool to put it in, but we build a pool, which is made of concrete, which is made of this Saturnian element, these Saturnian elements. In fact, we have to use Saturnian elements to come up with the idea to build a pool just for us to enjoy, and for us to have the clean water inside of the pool rather than muddy water. So it's very necessary, and it's kind of we've kind of needed this as a culture for a long time. It's hard to say wash off the dirt if we don't have a bathtub to put the water in. And so when we can get into the water, let everything go. I'm going to reflect back to Kassira's writing. Let it all go into that bathtub, and then pull the drain on it. And it all goes down. It all goes away. That's really what we're going to be experiencing, individually and collectively. When we're ready for it, or if we're not ready for it, we're still going to see it. It's still going to be there for us. The other aspect that's kind of cool is let's see, where did I put it here? Uranus is sextile the moon and the sun, and Uranus is the planet of surprises. Right now, Uranus is in Taurus, which means surprise, it's snowing on the Hollywood sign, okay. Surprise, everybody in Big Bear and in Lake Arrowhead are completely snowed in, just, and it shows us these things that we just weren't expecting. Now, with the sun sextile and the sun sextile, the sun and the moon, it's showing us from a more compassionate place how to use all of this electric energy, how to use all of these surprises, how to use, and now, of course, we would look in our own chart if we have access to that. But the bottom line is there's a lot of beneficial, a lot of positive support for us in these coming days. Let's see, another thing to reflect on. Of course, we know that the full moon is that time of release. It's that time of, the bucket is full, dump it out, just get rid of it. And that's where we are right now. We're seeing that. We're working up to that.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know about you, but Richard and I both could use some support right now.
You'll have it. You definitely will have it. The beautiful thing is that the support isn't far from us. The support isn't, in fact, it's not even outside of us. It will reflect outside of us, but the support that is being shown to us is our own connection to source, our own connection to the source of life that bubbles out of us. And when we allow it to freely flow, when we allow it to purify, then when it reflects back to us, it comes back to us in a pure form. Now, the other thing that I noticed was that our dear friend Black Moon Lilith, she's there to scare people a little bit, but she's not really there to scare people. She wants you to see. She's like, have you seen this place? She's like the white glove. Have you seen this? Are you kidding me? That's how she is. are you really going to keep that? That's Black Moon Lilith. And she's squaring the north node and the south node. And she's really going to show us like the dust in the corner, the cobwebs in the corner. But she will be overwhelmed by the support that we get from Uranus and this whole cycle. So fear not. Just say, okay, thank you. We see it. Yeah. Now move out of my way so I can deal with it.
Mm-hmm. It's all great. Wow. That's just amazing. There's been so much coming out in the news lately. I was not aware that this was also called the Black Crow Moon.
Well, the Crow Moon, but
the Crow Moon. Danielle had said that my spirit animal is the crow. Kassira says it's the white crow.
I think it's the white crow. Yeah.
And today I went to a gallery opening, and there was a woman wearing a jacket that she designed herself, and it was patches of crows that she had done on it. So I told her, I went up to her and I was talking to her, and I told her that was my spirit animal. And we had a wonderful conversation about it. And it was just interesting. She said that she had found these patches and she made this coat herself. Isn't that interesting?
Were they all the same color crows?
They were all the same color, but they were, some were crows in flight. Some were,
okay.
Yeah, some were crows.
Wow, did you get to take a picture?
I didn't. I didn't.
Oh, man.
I didn't have my camera with me, so
I
didn't do it. But I left my camera in the car when I went in. So
yeah, those kind of meaningful conversations will be very obvious right now. We're in we used to call it the thinning of the veil, but there's more to it than that. You see the crow, you don't just say, "Oh, that's weird," and walk away. No, you actually go up and engage with the person, and you've created a bond on the fabric of space time that has meaning. That it grows from there. And it wasn't it sounded like a beautiful conversation about concepts that maybe 40, 50 years ago would have been like poo-pooed or whatever, or just hit, secret. But now out in the open, that's my spirit animal. Wow, that's cool. And then the inspiration.
Well,
these
how many people do you meet who would design a coat with patches that they put together of different images of crows? Think about that for a moment.
That's very serendipitous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not a mistake.
Yeah.
Did you ask her if you could buy it?
No. I should have asked if I could wear it to my show next week.
That would be really cool.
That would have been great. She said she was coming, so that was great.
Wow.
So do you feel like, Richard, that you're living this worm moon, that you're coming out of sort of, it's been a while since you performed. You did do one show, not long, a few weeks ago or whatever.
Well,
how do you feel?
I hosted the benefit that was done for our church, but to do a full evening as myself, this is the first time I've done this in over 4 years. I had a rehearsal this afternoon, and we had a great rehearsal, and I feel really excited about it. I feel almost like I am a stallion in a gate, waiting for that gate to open and for me just to trot out of the gate. I can't wait to get out there and do it.
Good.
Yes. And that's the energy that we're invited to, all of us are invited to explore and cultivate, is that I'm ready. I know that I can do this. I have everything is on my side.
But I will say, last night I was thinking about someone. This is the truth. I swear this is the truth. Last night I was thinking about this person. And this morning I got up and checked my email, and they had ordered 2 tickets for my show. And then I mentioned, to Danny this afternoon, another name. And within moments of mentioning her name, she ordered 2 tickets.
Wow. See?
And I asked Danny if he had even reached out to her, because it was just so odd that I mentioned her name and there were the tickets right there. It was just unbelievable.
Wow. That's
No, it wasn't
cool.
odd. It was weird. And the word weird actually means to take hold of your own destiny in magical ways.
Great.
So there you go.
Great.
And
Well,
that is who
and
we are
Erron,
naturally.
and Erron got to go to his Mecca not long ago.
Yes.
Oh, I want to hear about it.
Well, I think it has something to do with this moon. There's something
Mhm.
there's something about the energy of this moon that I feel like had something to do with this particular weekend for you.
Yeah.
Do you
It was.
want to talk about it? You don't have to, but do you want
Well, I do. I'm
Okay.
I just not sure where to start. I'll just say that it was way more spectacular and meaningful than I had planned. I was in fact kind of resisting, and I said, let's listen to the little quiet voice that said, "You must go." Plus, I listened to Kassira's voice that said, "You must go."
You have to. No, I said you have to go.
Have to go.
So, Erron, may I ask why you were resisting?
Well, wait a minute. First, why don't you tell everybody? Do you want to tell everybody where you went? What the name of it was?
So it was the Conscious Life Expo 2023 at LAX Hilton in Los Angeles, California.
Is this the event that you were talking about at our last get together?
Yep.
So that, again, that's what I thought it was that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Based on everything that you've talked about in the past, it sounds like it's just this event that you look forward to all the time.
It is.
Why this time were you resisting it?
I don't know exactly. Every now and then we get those kind of impulses where we just want to, oh God, can I get a break? I've had very busy weekends, and I thought, if I don't go, that means I get to have a quiet weekend. But I know me, I wouldn't have a quiet weekend. I would still do something. And then I would be, it was the internal argument back and forth. And I let it play out. The important thing I've learned is to hear this voice, let them both play. And then there'll be a voice somewhere else that says, okay, you've heard all of that. Now just go. Just do it. Just get out there. Now that you've heard all the arguments that could possibly slow you down or encourage, whatever it is, go. Because this is where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do, what you've agreed to do, what you just yearn to do. Do it,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
no, go for it.
You know how I hate the word work, but I use it a lot for myself when I'm doing something that I don't really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
You put most of your waking hours are towards your income.
Mm-hmm.
You work a lot. You help run a huge office in Beverly Hills, and it's a big responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people depend on you, sometimes a little too much. That's putting it nicely.
Yeah.
So I just felt like it's so easy to stop living, isn't it?
Mm.
I realized recently, I had a civilian job until recently, that I'm so happy it turned out the way it did. I don't have to do it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. It was just wearing me out, and I had no energy. And no social life, and I'm a social butterfly. And a couple of things occurred with other people, about the universe, higher consciousness flew out of these people and said, "You're going to leave Santa Fe now." And I said, "Okay." So I haven't left yet. I got a lot out of you telling me about your Mecca. I just wanted to tell you that before you continue. I got a lot out of your experience. So anyway, go ahead.
Before you go on with your Mecca, I have a question for you, Erron.
Okay.
Because I was having a conversation with someone earlier this week about responsibilities, and a lot of times, and and another friend of mine called me who said, please don't be upset if I don't come to your show, because my son wants me to take care of his children for the weekend. And I said, I don't get upset about those things. If you are going to be there, you'll be there. And if not, I still love you. But the question that I would pose to you, and I'm just asking this question, is what would your son do if you were not there to take care of his children? And I asked this question of her, not because of my show, but because I had a conversation earlier this week, and this is something that I've been thinking a lot about lately, where someone said that she was the one who was always showing up to take care of her elderly parent, that her brother, who was in a better position to do so, was not necessarily showing up to do so. And I said, well, what would happen if you didn't show up to do this? And I don't want to put words in Kassira's mouth or anything, or even in the responsibilities that you have, but you do have a lot of responsibilities. But what happens if you don't show up for those responsibilities?
Mhm.
Do those things get taken care of?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. There's a
No.
lot of stuff that would go, and there would be a no. Yeah.
Not only do they not know, not only do other people not know how to do his job, they're not interested.
Right. That's
They're just
the
not
part.
interested in doing his job. You know why? It's a lot.
Yeah.
And what I was doing was a lot.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I feel like a worm that is literally fighting its way out of the soil right now. I'm
Like a worm.
I was there. I was there.
Did you feel that a lot of times that, and I know that for myself, I have a certain level that I would like certain things to be done. And because I want them to be done at a certain level, I'm going to do the extra work, even though it's stressful. Well, let me get rid of the word. It's overcommittal,
Mhm.
not stressful. I overcommit myself. But that we end up doing this, and perhaps the fact that we don't show up to do those things, that the other people that are involved, does it matter as much to them as it does to us or not?
Well, I mean,
Eventually.
a commitment is a commitment. And my good friend, you guys know, and my good friends know that if I don't feel like I can fulfill a commitment, I will not say yes. I just won't. I mean, and I kind of almost instantly know, you know, and seriously, you know, when it comes to creating income, I make every attempt to do my best, and sometimes it's just not good enough for other people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yet I feel like, okay, but anyway, getting back to the Mecca. So this is what's interesting. I don't know if you want to talk. Well, there's a lot of things that occur. What do
A
you
lot.
want to tell everybody? There was a lot of little things that occurred, and
Yeah.
let's talk about them, because
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody watching. Hi Pam. Hi Natasha. Hi
Yeah.
Alan. Let me say hi to everybody. Hi Cherie. Hi everybody. Hi. It's so nice to see you again. We haven't seen each other in a while. I'm working on it. There were so many interesting little weird things that just, well, they're not weird.
No, they are weird.
They
Weird
were
meaning we
perfect
took
for the
a hold of
weekend.
our destiny and we
But-
use that. It's magic to me. And
Yeah.
the really
Magical.
neat thing about the whole thing is that because everybody's, I can't say everybody, because I did run into some people who said, wow, don't you feel a lot of, what did they say? They said it was like energetic vampires. And I said, well, you know, all energies are kind of heightened here in this environment. So if you are focusing on energetic vampires, you'll certainly see them.
You'll certainly get the life sucked out of you.
Yeah,
we
do.
We did a show on energetic vampires, which Richard likes to call electric vampires, but that's a whole other show.
Right? Electric, yeah. I remember that.
Yes.
Like we just plug them in anytime we need them.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I love it.
I love you, Kassira. Thank you.
Oh,
so
God.
you'll see those electric and energetic vampires.
Oh.
However, my heart isn't open to that. So they're transformed, they're transmuted in my presence, and I accept that. I can say, I see light there. Maybe it's misused in the moment, but once it passes through my light, my frequency, it's, you know, either I don't see it or it will be transformed, transmuted, and utilized in a more useful way. And that's just how it is, you know. So I just use the opportunity as like a one of those training grounds where you get all the athletes together, and what is that called? Geez, I wish I was more athletic in that respect, but you know, yeah,
But, you know, but
these
he
big
said
competitions.
he was like, I don't know if I'm going to go, and I'm for the whole weekend. I said, you have to go, and he did go Friday night. That was the first night, right?
I did, yeah.
And
I
when you
ended up
go,
going.
is it a retreat? Do you stay for the whole weekend?
You
Not if
can.
you live in LA.
Yeah, I live close enough that I don't have
Okay.
to. Now I have stayed all weekend, which is a lot of fun because then you have a hotel room upstairs, and you just, you know, you can pop down. If you want to go rest, you can go upstairs, take a nap, come back down. You know, because it's very, very, very taxing. Otherwise, there's so much to see, so
Yeah.
many people to interact with, and
let me tell you, these conscious people know how to party.
yes, they do.
That bar is full,
And does
baby.
this travel around, or is it only in LA?
This one is always in Los Angeles this time of the year. There are other events in other parts of the nation and world where people will, some of the same presenters will go. But the Conscious Life Expo Los Angeles is always at that particular hotel, that particular time of the year. And in fact, this year it was at the same time as the Super Bowl. And I heard some comments, oh, maybe it'll be easy to navigate through the crowds. No. There was no lull in the excitement just because of the Super Bowl. One didn't take from the other.
Wow.
It was lively and fun and exciting, and they're just, you know, if you, I like to say they're anything from, you'll find people who are dressed just in their gossamer wings and up all the way up to $10,000 suits and everything in between, and you know, all the people that I've followed for years on like Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, you know. In fact, the dance party that they had on Friday night was
George Norrie likes karaoke night, doesn't he?
Yes, he's really good. He's really good.
You told me.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a particular thing that happened. I keep trying to get you here, and you haven't told the story yet.
Yeah. Tell me.
There was a vendor that you adore, and there was this big healing moment with you and several people, and this vendor. This just happened.
Let me think. Yeah.
Somebody was not well, and they came up to you guys. Do you remember? And you all like did a big healing session on her.
Oh, at the end. This is at the end when people were packing up. Oh my God, that was so wonderful. It was so amazing. So yeah, there was an event where this channeler, the channel is Alexandra, and the Alexander. I'm sorry, and I'm drawing a blank on the channeler's name, but she and her husband had a table with their books and, you know, whatever artwork on it. And I was standing there waiting for another friend, and this young woman comes up and she starts talking, and then she bursts out into tears. And now she looks like she's from a magical place. She's really interesting. I mean, her energy was just beautiful and sparkly and energetic. And to see her burst down into tears was strange, you know. She burst out in tears. Suddenly we all flooded in, and everybody revealed who they were. We had a pranic healer, we had a channeler, we had another pranic healer that came up, we had some other energy workers, and we were just all around creating this wonderful space of healing and energy. And this is while people are packing up to go at the end of the weekend. They're just done, you know, so they're getting their tables cleared up, and we were there for a while doing that. It was so cool. And I asked Alexandra if this happens. She goes, this happens a lot. This happens a lot. Their energies bring in these people who need it, and we found out the most amazing thing. We made the most amazing connections with people. It's so I wish I had more words for it. It was very, very, very cool. And you know, it's extremely.
I'm trying to find who this channeler is. You don't remember her name?
Yeah, I have it in my notebook over there on the other side of the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that your biggest aha moment of the weekend?
No, there are lots and lots of aha moments, lots and lots. and I would have to write some sort of book or some sort of narrative so I could like tick them off really quickly. But it started with going on Friday night. I left work and I was saying to myself, I'm not going. I'm not going to go. Find myself driving there anyway with the argument, you're not going to this thing? Yes. And I'm still driving there. And I thought, I'm just going to go there and walk in and just feel the energy and maybe buy the tickets. The first thing that happened to me was the ticket booths were closed by the time I got there. So I wasn't eligible to buy the discounted ticket for the whole weekend. I asked somebody and they said, well, hold on, let me get somebody in the walkie-talkie, clean up on aisle 4, sort of thing. And she sent me downstairs to a section where there were a lot of vendors, and I encountered somebody whom I've seen year after year, and she goes, oh my God, I know you. You're back again. It's so good to see you. And I said, yeah, are you the one who's going to get me the ticket? She goes, hold on a second. Let me get you the ticket. So she went back and got me the 3-day ticket, which I wasn't eligible for a discount, which I wasn't eligible for, and so that I could enjoy whatever I could that night. I was like, okay, I got it. Okay, thank you. I see.
Yeah,
that was my.
When I hear you tell this story, it's almost as if you were being tested.
You got it.
By what? What do you mean tested?
I was being tested by me, by my
your own higher consciousness was testing you.
Exactly.
It could have been very easy for you to say, it's not worth it. I'm going to leave. That first no, you can't do this, and then to walk away from it.
Yeah.
And that's a lesson for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many times, so many people just go, it's just too much to deal with. I'm just going to walk away from it all.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just walking through that morass and getting, I was reading something recently. We're all old enough to remember at Disneyland, well, it used to be called the e-ticket.
Yeah.
And when you got the e-ticket, that was the Fantasyland ticket, where you could go on all the rides in Fantasyland. And I don't think that exists anymore. But it's just a matter of all of us getting the e-ticket every day.
Yeah. And the key thing is to stand in my ground. I'm here. What can we do? I'm going to stand in the presence of my own desire and of my own spirit, of my own process of life, and say, here I am. I'm ready.
I'm so pushy. I just would have said, oh, my friend's in the room with my ticket. And I just would have gone in.
Well, now that happened to another friend of mine who her name is also Erron, and she appeared on Saturday. Okay. And I didn't know. I said, I'm not going to worry about when she's going to come in because we'll connect. I'm not worried about it. I went down with my friend, Dr. James, who's been on the show before. And
yeah, you sent me a picture. And also, how do I pronounce his name? Cyprian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I said, Erron will connect with me. I'm not worried about it. We were getting lunch. I suddenly hear somebody saying, Erron. I recognized the voice. I turned around. I didn't see her because she had a hat on. She lifted her hat and it was Erron. And I thought, wow, that's cool. She goes, here's the funny thing, Erron. Of course, we both have this kind of conversation all the time. The synchronicity. Let's identify it. Let's amplify it. Let's live it. She says, oh my God, you're here. I said to myself, I'm going to sneak in the back way. Here's what she said. I'm going to sneak in through the back, have some food, and call Erron. So she snuck in the back. She got food. And as she's eating, she didn't text me. She didn't call me on the phone. She called me. And I said, here I am right in front of you. You called me. You manifested me right here, right now. And from there, the whole weekend was like that. In fact, she got the last ticket to one of the top presenters, completely sold out. This channel named Bashar, Daryl Anka.
Yes, Bashar. And also, by the way, Stephen Halpern, the musician, he was there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I love Stephen Halpern's music. Wow. Yeah, but I noticed, yes, Bashar was there as well. Wow, that's a whole other Bashar is a whole other show.
Oh, yeah. She couldn't the tickets were sold out for him. She says, it's okay, I'll manifest one. And I said, yes, you will. That's how we talk to each other. We don't say, "Oh, what do you mean manifest?" We say,
Yeah.
"No, yes, you will." Okay, and then we dropped it. We said it, and then we dropped it. And so, at a certain point, we split up. You know, it was the evening that Bashar was coming on, and she still didn't have that ticket. She goes, "I'm not worried. I'm going to manifest it." And she goes, "Do you want one too?" And I said, "You know, not this time. You don't have to get one for me." And so she said, she went down to get coffee. Way downstairs in a whole different part. And she's standing there thinking, "Oh yeah, I got to manifest my ticket." She turns around. Who's standing right behind her? Bashar, Daryl Anka, standing right behind her. And she says, "Oh, wow, well, there you are." And she says, "I was going to manifest a ticket. I didn't, but you," she said, "I was going to buy a ticket." And he says, "Well, they're all sold out." And she goes, "I know, but I was going to manifest one." And so the friend that was with him says, "Oh yeah, you should definitely do that." They walked up to the performance space. The line is so packed and so long. She just ignored it, and she walked up to the front door and says, "Oh, I'm going to manifest a ticket. I wasn't able to buy one before you sold out." And then she, stood there for a few minutes. The person at the door said, "You know what? My weekend is full. My heart is full. Take this ticket. You can buy it from me." The last ticket.
Wow.
She got it.
Wow.
So we celebrated that. The whole weekend was like that. There's so many moments to try to encapsulate.
Every time you go, I'm just observing you and your stories. Something new happens every time you go. Like there's these new experiences that happen every time you go, which is why I feel like I'm wondering. I'm going to ask, are you guys still watching? Alan, Pam, Natasha?
Yes, they're all there.
Cherie, what is your Mecca? Like, what is your Mecca? Like, there's something you go do. Like, for instance, I have friends that go up to a guru's property in Myrtle Beach. I'm not going to say the name of the guru. But I do have friends that go up there at least twice a year. Karen Romastan, Reverend Karen, who was on our show, Richard, she goes to a monastery once a year and just meditates for a week and just writes in her journal. That's I think that's her Mecca. So what I'm asking you guys, what's your Mecca, Alan, Cherie, Natasha, Pam? What's your Mecca? Like, where do you go every once in a while, or do you go every week, or where do you go for, to get that? And I have to say that one of my Meccas is my own home. I have to say that right now my Mecca is my home, wherever it's going to be. It's going to be in Dallas this coming week. However, where do you retreat to reawaken yourself? Because I feel like that's what happens. I used to practice. I haven't practiced in a while, but I'm a graduate of Vipassana meditation. If I can get away for 12 days, which is so far never up until now, that's a Mecca for me, is going away and not having to talk to anybody or hear anybody talk to me for 12 days. Cherie says, in my recliner, catching up on Netflix.
That's fine. That's fine. If it works, it works.
Yeah, baby. I just watched Chris Rock's new thing on Netflix today. It was hysterical. Yeah. Anybody else?
Does he cover any of the events of the past year?
I love being home after decades of gladly running around. Okay, Alan. Okay, Pam. It used to be the mountains with my mother. See, I think that has everything to do with this moon. I think it has everything to do with us waking up again and discovering new things. And I just thought it was so timely that the Conscious Life Expo happened right before this moon.
Yeah.
Because it was just last weekend, right? Was it last weekend or the weekend
It was
before?
2 weekends. It was on the new moon.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was on the new moon. Smart.
Yeah.
Very smart that they scheduled it during the new moon. Very, very, very smart.
Erron, does this happen several times a year, or does it happen once a year?
This
Once a
particular
year.
event happens once a year, but there are other events throughout the year that have sprung from this one. One of them, actually, they moved to Las Vegas, but they were in downtown LA out in a park. And there would be one of the favorite things was there was a guy who could call in these UFOs, these things that we could all see. And he got sponsored. They set up cameras and telescopes so they could zoom in on the objects that he was calling in. So we're all standing out there, huge crowds, looking up into the sky. We're like, oh wait, there's the one right there. Now here's the thing:
it doesn't make national news.
No, it won't, because nobody can really see them except us. And here's how we know that: a little Cessna airplane or something was flying around up there. They flew. I don't know if it was above it or below it. They could have seen it, but they, it wasn't like they were circling around to see it again and again. And these things pop in and pop out. It's the most amazing thing. And this huge crowd of people saw it. We're all pointing and everything. They're recording it on the big monitors that they have out there for us to see. These are events that happen when you get a crowd of people. You get them in a certain vibratory experience. You get them in, get their attention focused in a certain place. We've heard of.
That's what I'm doing next Sunday.
Yes, exactly.
Calling in the aliens. I love calling in the extraterrestrials. I love it.
Right. Yeah,
I love it.
And it's interesting because yesterday, I don't know if you've heard, Marianne Williamson announced her candidacy for president again. And regardless of what your thoughts are about her, she brings up a lot of spiritual truths when she's running.
Yeah.
And
people laugh at her and make fun of her, and
doesn't stop her.
And she's amazing. Our country is just
comes through. Listen to what she says, folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
our country is so hateful right now.
Yeah.
Really, let's just be honest. We have so many hateful people in our country. They're just not ready.
I was thinking about this. It's very interesting, and forgive me for what I'm about to say, everyone. But I was listening to the CPAC convention.
Oh, you don't? Yeah, I know.
Now, the CPAC convention used to be a celebration of their, but it's become such a convention of hate, and it's being spewed around, and it's very interesting right now that yesterday I'll tell you what I did yesterday, and my goddaughter, who is 18, played Hava in a high school production of Fiddler on the Roof.
Aww.
And so when I found out that she was doing it, I called my friend Neva Small, who played Hava in the movie version, to see if she would go with me to the school.
Oh.
And she went with me to the school. And
exciting.
We did a talk back with the kids in the audience after the show yesterday. And it's a very, especially now with what's going on in the world, this play, and it was such a cast of diversity. And I will say this, these kids were Broadway caliber with a full orchestra and everything. I mean,
wow, you don't see full orchestras a lot in schools anymore.
And I just sat there and I was just weeping through this. The guy who played Tevye, there was so much truth in what he was doing and saying on stage, but it was such a great, wonderful experience yesterday to see these kids and what they were able to create, on this stage. But I see these events that are happening. Oh, I was talking to the director's partner, who has created a character called Lola, a drag performer. And we were talking about these laws that just went through in Tennessee. He also works for Scholastic Books. And the other thing that's happening is that they are going back into these books that have been written 50, 60 years ago and rewriting them. Certain words that are called trigger words are now being extracted from these books. because they're afraid that they do not want to trigger everyone. And we're going to lose this sense of discussion, of being able to sit down and talk about these things that are like what we're doing right now. If you disagree with something, it's okay to disagree with it. Have a discussion about it. But the fact that we're shutting all that down, I think we're going down a very slippery slope right now.
Yeah. Well, the worms are coming up, so the crows will eat them, and we can say the spirit will pluck out, but it has to be revealed. That's just how it is. I'm talking about the CPAP, these other conventions. Let's see.
I have to say, the governor of New Hampshire, who is Republican, was on Meet the Press. And he is not a supporter of a past president. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say the name. Okay. And there are more people from that party coming up saying we don't support that. We support something else. And he said today, that it's not about the party, it's about the person and what they stand for. Then they had another guest on who said it's time for a third party. I've been saying this for years. I like Japan's example. I've said it before. Japan has several parties to choose from, not just two. They've got several.
Yeah.
Well, I think it goes a little deeper than that, Kassira, and I totally agree with you, by the way. I think that...
there's 40%. Did you know 40% of the American public is now independent? And I'm one of them. So, it's a time for us to, maybe I'm envisioning, since we're talking about the worm, I'm envisioning new worms coming out. New baby worms coming out. And doing something different and new.
Well, I think that we unfortunately, there's something in our consciousness in this plane that we're on right now, where most people, not everyone, want to think in terms of black and white. It's either this or that.
Either or. We're all raised that way, aren't we?
We're raised that way. And there are so many different hues. There are different shades of black. There are different shades of white. There are different shades of everything. And instead of just saying, this is the only way, this is the, there are many ways to heaven. There are many ways to Mecca. There are many ways to get there. I love the fact that Kassira asked everybody what their version of Mecca is. We all have our own versions. It doesn't matter what it is. And I love the fact that if Sherry says that she is sitting in a recliner watching Netflix movies, if that gives her nirvana, God bless her. That's
enlightenment. Yeah. Yeah. I think when I mean Mecca, it's like a place where you go and see your enlightenment, that encourages your enlightenment. Yeah. I've had a few places like that in my life, not currently. Yet I'm getting back to it. I thought it was Santa Fe, and it's not. So I'm going back to Dallas, and there's a couple of places where I feel that way. And then moving on to New Orleans later on next fall with a friend. And that's one of my meccas. New Orleans is so. There's a lot of energy there, and there's a lot of history, and there's a lot of culture. And it all blends together beautifully.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So what I like to. So, Erron.
Yes, I'm still here.
Well, I know. I'm looking at you.
My bells are here too.
How do I ask this? Oh, you could disappear right now. That'd be really cool. And then come back. That'd be really cool. Like, what do you, as this worm moon happens and everything's breaking out and awakening, How do you feel that applies to you?
Oh, let's see. Specifically me. Oh, actually, I did have some reflections on that. I was mostly looking for collective consciousness. The main thing that I see for me, and I guess this applies, is it. We're in Pisces season. Everything out there reflects, and it says, "Where's the support?" And the support goes right back here. I look into myself, look into my, and there might be some cobwebs in here too. There might be some little dark shadows. I get to look at that, and I'm supported by looking at that. I'm supported by exploring my own pitfalls, and by exploring, the little thing. And I'm encouraged by supporting my own exploration of why did I not want to do something that I eventually did and I enjoyed. That's a big thing. And I can say, okay, note to self, when that voice comes up, I can listen to it. I don't have to, but that's not the only voice. There's another voice. There are all these other ideas that are reflected to me that say, I love it when Kassira said, but that's your Mecca. You got to go. And I was like, bing. So I that's how it reflects back to me. And there are many things that are brewing. Nothing that I can really put nothing that's ready to serve up, I'll say. But for me, the ever unfolding experience is the most fun, because things change along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already warned by the current astrology that says, people aren't going to like it. There's going to be some tempers flying. Be ready. Okay, cool. There are going to be some hurt feelings. Be ready. Okay, cool. There are going to be some, but on the other side of that, there is compassion. There's love. There's deep love. There's deep understanding. There's joy that you haven't been exposed to yet. You just don't have the capacity to experience it yet. But you got to go through this other stuff before you get to that joy. So, okay, and then that's down the road. There are warnings and this and that, warning signs that just say, reflect back, go in here, the guidance is here, and I already have those kind of support systems set up. I have Kassira, Richard in my meditation group, and I'm buttressed all over the place with this, and that's something that I require, and I support, and it supports me back. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Richard?
Yes.
Same question.
I pulled a few cards, and
do it. Bring it on.
So
I'm gonna let y'all do the cards tonight. I'm not gonna do the cards. Y'all gonna do the cards.
The full moon is going to be in Virgo. So the full moon in Virgo says, you are good enough. So that's number one.
Yep.
Also, the full moon, surrender to the divine.
Nice.
And the full moon in Virgo, which I love, is take inspired action.
Ah, yes.
So, and I'd like to make an announcement here. Kassira and I, and I started doing this as a result of, excuse me, get choked up, COVID. And then we just...
Wait, you what? We what?
No,
what?
This book club that I was started.
Okay.
And we just went through Kassira's book, Let That Go. I want to let everybody that's watching right now, including you, Erron, if you can join us, starting on the 13th, we meet every Monday morning. It's virtual. It's a Zoom group that we meet. And we are going to be meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. But we are going to be starting with the 369 journal, as suggested by Kassira. It's about manifestation. And I am doing a combination of 369 and the 4 agreements. I'm going to combine them together. So if any of you are interested, we would like a commitment. if you're able to follow through with those 2 books, at least to get us through the 4 agreements and 369, we're going to commit to manifesting incredible things as we go through the rest of this year, and especially as Saturn is now going to be moving ahead. This is a magical time, everyone, and let's just get all on board with that. So if you're all interested, just simply send me an email, richard@richardskipper.com. I will answer any questions you may have, and we'd love to have you join our group. And Kassira can tell you about the group. It's a lot of fun.
It's really fun. You know, here's the thing. What happens in the book club stays in the book club. We have a code of confidentiality and conduct. Everybody is so giving in this club that sometimes it turns into a therapy session, and I have a group therapy session. When there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But everybody's so giving and understanding. There's no judgment. There's no laughing at each other. There's nothing exists like that in the book club. It's really, really, it's so cool. But you have to agree. You have to verbally agree to the agreements of confidentiality. No, nothing. What happens there stays there, and we don't ridicule each other. We don't judge each other. Everything that everybody has to say is important, and how they feel is important. I'm going to be working during the day when I move back to Dallas. Yet I'm making myself available on that Monday. I'm making myself available at 10 in the morning. Let's you guys just think about it. Just think about it. It's really fun, and it is Richard's book club. So Richard's in charge. I got to co-charge when we did my book, which, just so you know, it was really more like it was a seminar. How many weeks did we do this book? 2, 3?
5.
5 months?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a seminar for my book. Which we might want to do again with some people. It was really interesting how everybody, it was interesting. As a group, we moved with the group's flow. So the collective consciousness had us skip some weeks. It had us keep in touch with each other, or people couldn't be there. You know, it was really great how we worked it out. Very interesting, and invitation only. Really, it's not open to the whole planet. So if Richard's inviting you, it's a big deal. I've invited someone. Erron knows about it. I know that you have to work, Erron. Maybe you can do an hour of pretending to work. Charge. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So, what other card, Erron? Did you pull a card?
Okay, so yeah, let's see where I put it here. I shuffled some things about. I'm just going to do the one that felt important to me.
Okay.
When I pulled it, this is from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Let's see if I can.
Nice.
That. You see that?
Okay.
And the card I pulled is number 22, Fool's Embrace.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's that? What is that?
So Fool's Embrace is it's kind of referring to the Fool in the tarot deck, but it talks about the pain of life. I'll just read it real quick. The pain of life is sometimes unbearable. When we're in it, we think that pain, we think that loss, that betrayal will always be woven through the continuity of existence. We're kept hostage by the way we identify with the pain and what we make it mean. If we let it in, it becomes etched into us like a tattoo. No matter where we are on the spectrum of pain, you find yourself now, whether it be mild disappointment or searing loss. It's time to make peace with it, befriend it rather than resisting it. or running from it, or judging it as bad or unfair or hostile? Can we see the gift that this pain brings? Surrender to the fool's embrace, allowing the truth to envelop you with compassion and love. Yeah, that's really struck me because it goes on, but it talks about the cycle of life, what we go through in life, how we label these things actually harm us or they benefit us, you know. There's a wonderful podcast that I've started listening to, and I can only remember the name. I don't remember the person who's the speaker on it, but she says a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. So, you know, it's wonderful because she's does dream work. She does all the, you know, different kinds of techniques to look at the other side of these catastrophes, these disasters, you know, and you know, we've all been through these horrible things in our life, some more than others. The interesting thing is that when we look at them from our own point of view, we sometimes have an opportunity to see the full picture that other people can't see. They're only seeing what, like, you would only see what I tell you, but I'm in it and I can see the whole thing now. Am I seeing it from the, you know, as part of the balance of the whole picture? And, you know, it's that sort of that's what this card means to me, and that's what this energy, and it reflects back to this moon cycle, because we're in Pisces looking at Virgo, and Virgo is with her willingness and desire to serve, says, let's make something of this. You know, yes, this is a tree stump now, and it seems like a dead tree. Let's use it as fertilizer and grow an entire forest around it, an entire ecosystem.
Yeah, it's about taking action.
Taking action.
It's, you know, cause and effect. We live in a world of cause and effect. We take an action and we get some sort of effect.
Yeah.
You know, I keep saying that one of the things I'd really like to do is write pet articles for a company, because I'm a little bit of a pet expert, and I'm going back to an old position in Dallas. I'm going to be taking care of animals again and writing for their website.
Good for you.
There it is. I love that.
Yet I've offered the articles gratis so that I can continue to own them. So they don't own them, I own them. Yet, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. That's really
and
cool.
something else that just, you know, I want to say, I'll say it out loud. I'd really like to be a presenter at Conscious Life Expo.
Yes.
They
do it.
I'd really like to have a joint booth with somebody, sell the book, lecture, and be with somebody else that sells things that have to do with that. And Richard has been saying, you have to finish your numerology book. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And I've got to do that. I got to do it.
I want you to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can do like my friend Erron did and just say, I'm manifesting that.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
And it's done.
Yeah, it's done. That's all.
We're done, and we're done now.
Yeah. So it's done. We're done. And we move on to the next joyful event. We move on to the next fun thing. We move on to the next, you know, and that's it.
I pulled a card for us last month that I didn't present. We were talking, and the card, and I'm not even going to read the explanation, but I pulled I have a deck of spirit animal cards. I pulled the unicorn for this group. And you can interpret that any way you like. But I remember pulling the unicorn last month.
Wow.
That's great.
Okay.
We're all unicorns. Are we meditating or no?
Well, we've gone over, so
okay.
But let's all, make tonight a meditation as we go into the new moon. We will be back next month to celebrate next moon, and we will stay in touch. And as you can see, believe.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. I love you all, Erron, Kassira. I'm so glad you're in my life, and
me too.
Positive thoughts your way, and everybody send that collective consciousness my way next Sunday. And on the 18th, I'm thinking of it as a revival meeting. That's what it's going to be. I will see you all next time.
Well, if we're asking for prayers, darling.
What was that?
If we're asking for prayers and good thoughts.
Yes.
Please, everybody, fly me to Dallas on angel wings, please.
You've got it.
It's done.
ASAP this week. Thank you, Erron. Would you like energy towards something?
It is done. Let's fly Kassira on angel wings. That's for me.
Gossamer wings.
Yes.
Gossamer wings.
I love you all.
Bye, babes.
Thank you.
Bye, sweeties. Bye, Alan. Bye, Cherie. Bye, Natasha. Bye, everybody. Bye. Who else is here? Who else is here? Pam. Bye, Pam. Bye, you guys. I love yous. Okay.
It's gonna be a brighter day. Don't worry. It's gonna be a brighter day. Yeah, yeah. Don't worry. It's gonna be a brighter day. Don't worry. It's gonna be a brighter day. Don't worry. So don't let nothing get you down. There's goodness all around. Keep the love in your heart and hold your head high. Give all the love and kindness you can to every child, woman, and man. Just know that a change is happening now.